Hey everybody, this is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. I hope you're having a really good day or evening, whatever you are doing, wherever you are right now. So today we're talking about 10 weight training benefits for women. And as you know, I am a big fan of weight training and practice this, of course, myself too. And all my clients are doing it as well because there are just so many health benefits. And even though I am not a fan of like thinking, oh, I regret this or I regret that, I wish I had done this differently. There are a couple of things, of course, in my life that I wish that I had done differently. And this is one of them. I wish that I had started lifting weights way sooner than I did. So, as you probably know, I was a big runner most of my 20s. And before that, of course, I did track and field and basketball. There's a little bit of weight training there. But for me, track and field was definitely more, it was a lot of like skill. I was a javelin thrower and of course a little bit of strength, but it was not like actual strength work. And I think when I did this when I was like 16, 17, 18. It's good time to not push weight so hard. So it was like skills plus weight. But then later on, when I stopped doing that and I was kind of like on my own, I didn't do anything like formal like this anymore. No track and field, no basketball. I wish that I had picked up weights sooner than I did because my trajectory was I just jumped into running because I thought that this is the fastest way to get skinny. And if you listen to the last podcast episode, you know that this is definitely a mistake. You don't want to do that. And of course, a little bit of cardio is fine, but it shouldn't be just cardio and not the way that I did it. And I'm talking about this because I still see quite a bit actually in men and women because the temptation to lose the weight fast is so strong that we tend to pick that thing that we think that will get us there faster. And so we start doing a ton of cardio. So all that is to say that there's one thing that I wish I'd done sooner. And this is, I wish that I had started lifting weights. And my first, just give you a little bit of like personal background, my first kind of like more a serious attempt with weightlifting was actually around 2014 when I started doing CrossFit. And I didn't do it for a long time, but I got the taste of it. I got the taste of what it feels like to lift weights. And it was really empowering. And of course, CrossFit was, and I believe still is, it's a lot of weight training plus also cardio. There are, sprints and running and rope slams and all that kind of stuff. That's also cardio, but also there's a lot of weight training. And for me, it was really helpful because I started to realize that if I want to get stronger, I have to also eat more. And this was really one big kind of turning point for me because by then I had way less eating problems then, but this was kind of like a really big light bulb moment when I saw people lifting weights and I realized I cannot starve myself from food and from good number of calories. I have to eat more if I want to be good at this and if I want to get strong. And so this is how I sort of got started. But then, of course, it didn't stay this way. There were still like a lot of other temptations like HIIT training and a lot of like intense training. And I think I still did one more marathon in 2014. So, there's been a little bit of ups and downs. And it wasn't until really when I got super serious about macros, which was like early 2020, that I started like changing my workouts a ton, a lot. I mean, I had lifted weights regularly, let's say, 2018 and 19. I had done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, definitely more strength training than cardio, or definitely more strength training than just cardio with weights or this high intensity interval training. But in 2020 was when I really really learned what it actually takes to lift weights, how to do it in a way that benefits my body. That weight training is not just like a bunch of random things thrown together and doing them in a circuit manner and hoping to get really exhausted and really fatigued and really sweaty from it. It was really the time when I learned that slowing down is the key. The important part is feeling your muscle, the things that I talked about in the last episode. It is important that you fuel your body and that you really challenge your body, but not in a way that's focused on burning and depleting and all that, but in a way that's actually focused on building real strength. And this is the the distinction here, where I feel like sometimes people are telling me that I am doing strength training, but it comes out that they're doing, maybe circuit type of boot camp classes, which are fine. They're fine and not a bad thing. And I was a boot camp teacher for a long time and I enjoyed it. It is, of course, it's kind of like introduction. It's good. It's better than nothing. It teaches you a couple of things. It teaches you how to do squats and kettlebell swings and shoulder presses and all these things, but it's still not full-on strength training. So when I'm talking about strength training or weight training in today's episode, this is what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the style of training where you're actually focusing on strength building, not moving really fast from one exercise to another, where you are just like doing stuff to burn calories. I'm talking about the actual strength training. You can think about it, it's kind of like more traditional lifting, where you go to the gym and then you do 10 squats and then you rest, and then you do 10 squats and then you rest. And the rest periods are actually for resting and not doing a bunch of stuff in between. So when I'm talking about weight training benefits, this is what I'm talking about. And of course, weight training is very healthy. And of course, there are people who can just get started with body weight training. It doesn't have to be necessarily lifting heavy barbells, lifting heavy dumbbells. Eventually, I would like you to get there. But if you're not there, if you're a total beginner, then just start with body weight. And that's going to be really helpful as well. So let's talk about 10 benefits that women will experience from lifting weights. And the first one is higher metabolic rate. And by the way, I want to say that these 10 are not in a specific order. They're just however I wrote them down. It's not that, one thing is necessarily more important than the other, but these are just the 10 things that I thought about. So the first thing is higher metabolic rate. And why is this important? Well, I think everybody wants that. I think most women think that I wish I had faster, more flexible metabolism. And a lot of times people think that in order to burn more calories in a day, they just have to do more cardio. We've talked about this a lot. And I also do have a YouTube video that I will link to at the end of the podcast episode, where you can check that out, how to burn, I think I say 500 more calories without added cardio. So check out this video too, if you're watching this on YouTube, and I will also put it in the show notes so you can check it out easily. But the problem here is that when we're focusing on this manual calorie burn by doing a ton of cardio, we are actually not raising our metabolic rate. And the way we increase our metabolic rate is that we lift weights and we get stronger and we put on more muscle. So we are increasing what is known as our BMR, basal metabolic rate, which is the number of calories that your body burns when you are at rest. So you don't have to be even doing stuff. So I want you to let go of this idea of manual calorie burning, having to burn, do lots of running, lots of activity all the time, doing all kinds of signing up for races and all that. If you like it, that's fun, but it's not going to raise your metabolic rate. What raises that metabolic rate is when you lift weights and get stronger and put muscle on the body, because that way the muscle will do the calorie burning for you. And I see it all the time. I do see it with my clients. For example, when I have somebody who has been eating way less than what they need, and now they start eating more gradually, as I always talk, increasing your calories gradually, then the metabolic rate will go higher because they're also lifting weights. I have a really great example of that. This one woman who came to me, she was eating 1550 calories, and she knew that something was off. She knew that she needed to eat more. She's pretty active. She is lifting a lot. She's doing a little bit of cardio, like rope slams and things like that. But then we started increasing her calories and she continued heavy training and, of course, challenged herself more with weights. And guess what? Right now, she's eating 2,400 calories and she's 5'2". So really listen to this again. She's 5'2" and she's eating 2,400 calories and she's in phenomenal shape. And she has higher metabolic rate, way higher than where she was when she was eating 1,550. But this is all done strategically. You cannot guess your way there. So it has been done by eating more and then lifting weights, challenging herself with heavy weights. She's not doing, those million reps with light weights. She's actually challenging herself. And this is why she has been able to increase her metabolic rate. Now, can you imagine So she's burning, 900 calories more than she did before. And can you imagine doing this with cardio? How much you would have to run to get that same effect? And it's not also going to raise your metabolic rate. So really think about it. Lift weights if you want to have higher metabolic rate. So that was number one. Number two, which is of course related to it, is more effective fat loss. And most women want that, want to burn more body fat. And this is, of course, also possible if you have more muscle on the body, and also which happens when you are lifting weights. So it's not true that you can turn your fat into muscle. It doesn't just change from one tissue to another, but you can burn more body fat the more muscle you have on the body. Because like I said, the higher metabolic rate will help you to burn more calories. And of course, that will help you to burn more body fat as well. So if you want effective fat loss, if you want results that stay, if you don't want to rely on doing lots of activity and always like tons of cardio, then put on some muscle and you will notice how you will start losing body fat. Of course, given that your workouts are well structured, well organized, and that you're actually doing them. And I always say that for beginners, 2 workouts a week, great. For most other people who have some experience, 3-4 workouts a week, this is all what you need. And to give you one more little secret is that the more you practice over time, then you have to actually do less to maintain that. Let's say that at first, maybe you did 2 workouts, then you bumped it up to 3 and then to 4, and then maybe even to 5. Now, if you keep doing this for a while, then years later, you actually can get away with 3 and you're fine. Your body knows what to do. You have built up this really strong metabolism. You have a lot of muscle on your body, and maintaining it is easier. But first, you have to find your way there to build your way there. It's sort of a little bit like with intuitive eating and with macros. First, you have to like track and be very specific about it, and then you can kind of take it a little bit more easy and eat more intuitively because your body already knows what to do. So it's the same thing with lifting weights too. There might be a little bit more effort at first, but later when your body is used to it, your body's metabolic rate is already high, then actually just 3 workouts a week is totally fine. It's totally fine. All right, so moving on to the next thing. What is the next benefit of weight training for women? And that is health benefits, which means it lowers risk of several diseases such as heart disease, of course, osteopenia, osteoporosis, and diabetes too. So let's talk a little bit about them. So heart disease, how can that help? So for the longest time, everybody was talking about how cardio is good for heart health. And of course it is. It's not a bad thing for heart health, for sure. But also weightlifting can be very cardio exercise. And by the way, I don't mean, like I said earlier, doing 1,000,000 reps with tiny weight and to get your cardio this way. But have you tried doing heavy squats, let's say 8 to 10 reps, and needing to rest? Because you need that rest, because after you're done your 8 to 10 reps, you are probably out of breath. And you think your heart is not working during that time? Of course it does. And it reminds me of one of my personal training clients who just told me exactly that. She said, well, I think it was one of her relatives, she told me that I should be doing more cardio. And I responded to her, I said, have you ever tried doing heavy squats? And this is so true, because when you challenge yourself with weights, there's absolutely no way that you're not going to be out of breath when you finish your set, and then you rest. So the difference is that it's not long, steady state cardio, but it is shorter, but it is intense, and your heart will get a really good workout. And it can be just as good like for your health as doing steady state cardio. And I also remember years ago, there was this fitness person who I really liked, and I don't think she's very active anymore. Her name is Jen Sinclair, and she was also all about strength training, and she was definitely one of my big, how would you say, like examples or people that I kind of aspired to be like. And she always said, I think she even created a t-shirt or tank top or something like that said, what do you do for cardio? And the answer was, I lift weights faster. So this was a good one. And definitely you notice that when you lift weights, you are getting a cardio from that too. So it was all about heart health that we're talking about here. So it lowers the risk of heart disease. So the second thing is osteopenia and osteoporosis, which is of course bone loss. And weight training is really, really helpful. I mean, you just have to do this. In my opinion, there's no really other option. You have to strengthen your muscles, because your muscles are attached to your bones. And when you are challenging your muscles, you're also, and growing your muscles, you will also strengthen your bones. And this is so important, especially later in life when we hit menopause. This is very, very important. And actually something that from my personal experience, my mom is dealing with osteopenia. So she has broken her shoulders a couple of times, and she has not done weight training. She has not done any resistance training. And only now at the age of 66, she started doing some with my help. So I have to check in with her every now and then to see if she's actually still doing it, because she's very much like a super active person in ways that, as far as like walking, she likes to walk a lot. She walks everywhere. She doesn't even have a car. And I've shared this a couple of times, I think on Instagram too, that I'm actually really grateful for the way I grew up, because we lived in a small town. We didn't have a car. We walked absolutely everywhere. There's no such thing as like driving your kids to the school. We just didn't have a car. So we just walk. And she's still doing a lot of it, but she has not done any resistance training, weight training. So just getting her started with that, and hoping that it can also help with the bone density, because it's not fun if you break your bone, and later in life we know that healing also takes a lot longer, especially when we don't have good bone mineral density. And of course, weight training also lowers the risk of diabetes. I think we all know that, because the more muscle we have, the better insulin sensitivity we have. And the better insulin sensitivity we have, the lower the risk of diabetes. So this is pretty obvious. So this was my third point. Weight training definitely lowers the risk of many diseases. All right, moving on to the next point, which is the shape of your body, or the curves. So briefly touched on that also some time ago, maybe last episode or the one before that, where I talked about that strength training is the only thing that changes the shape of your body. You can get smaller by just burning a lot of calories or eating less or doing more cardio. You can get smaller, but it does not change the shape of your body. Lifting is the only thing that does it. And like I said, you can use weights, you can use barbells, you can use dumbbells, or you can get started with body weight. And body weight training can be very, very challenging as well. So, and not only for beginners, because have you seen gymnasts, right? It's body weight training. So definitely all kind of resistance training will help. And this is what will give you the curves. I hear from my clients a lot that they tell me that, oh, my butt is getting bigger, or my shoulders are getting bigger, and my shirts don't fit that well anymore. And this is a cool thing. This is not like, oh my God, I got bigger now, this is a bad thing, it's horrible. No, they actually have put on muscle mass, so that now they have bigger glute muscles, now they have bigger biceps or bigger deltoids, and that's something that looks good. So you may have seen maybe pictures of people, or maybe you've experienced yourself, of somebody who has just lost a lot of weight and they just look pretty much exactly the same they did before, other than they're just a little bit smaller now, but the shape is not there. And so sometimes people are really disappointed. They're like, I put in all this work and my shape has not changed. What's the deal? And the deal is that the training method wasn't right. You got smaller, but you didn't get the shape that you wanted, because you're probably not doing weight training. So remember, weight training is the only thing that gives you the shape that you want to get. All right, health benefit number 5 is strength and performance. Wow, this is so awesome, because there are a few things that get me as excited as getting messages on Signal or text messages from my clients, where they're telling me that they are stronger. They noticed something that was different as a result of doing the strength workouts 2, 3, 4 times a week. And let me read you actually a couple of them. I think they're so good. I just really love them, because this is real life. This is how what you're doing translates into real life. And of course, who wouldn't want to be strong? So here's the first one. Hi, Kirsten. I have to share this with you. Today, I managed to pack to my car 8 blocks of water, 6 bottles, each 2 liters in one block, without any pause, and I was not tired at all. I lifted them and loaded to my car without any problem. What a great feeling to be able to do such thing. This is so cool. And I love hearing this, because this is coming from a person who was not active before. She didn't lift weights, and now she's finding something like real world, real life application that she experiences how it has paid off. And here's another one. Hey, I just wanted to let you know that all of our training has made a huge difference in my skiing this year. I can go all day on bumps and in deep powder without getting tired. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's amazing, and you feel it in your everyday life. There are moments like people pick up their kids and like, oh, it was nothing, or pick up their grocery bags and don't need any help. And one of the favorite ones is, of course, putting the stuff on the airplane up in the overhead compartment and not needing any help. So when I hear stories like this really gets me very excited. And of course, strength is so important also, so that we can stay independent longer in our lives. We don't need any additional help. We can do stuff on our own. And isn't that empowering? All right, moving on to the next point, and this is the sixth one, the sixth weight training benefit for women, and this is mood. Have you noticed that your mood is probably a lot better when you move your body, when you lift weights? And of course, there are a bunch of good neurotransmitters associated with it: serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine. And in my opinion, strength training is one of the safest mood regulating thing that you can do. And of course, there might be occasions when somebody needs medication. Cool. If this is what you need, do what you need. But also, have you tried lifting weights? At least add it to it and see what that can do for your mental health. And just recently, another client told me that she absolutely notices difference between days when she did the strength workout and days when she didn't. So she's going through a chiropractic school right now. She is under a lot of stress. She has to study a ton. She has like board exams and stuff coming up soon, and it is stressful. But she says that when I have done my strength training workout in the morning, then my mood is so much better, and I know that I can do things better. So it was a little bit of a struggle for her to get those workouts in, because there is a lot to do when she's studying. But because she told me that I absolutely feel the difference when I have done my strength workout, we actually agreed that I'm going to check in with her all 3 days when she told me that she's going to do the workouts. I'm going to literally send her a message and ask, did you do it? And that's how she stays accountable, because she knows that she needs it. She needs to do it in order to feel good, in order to be able to study, in order to stay focused. So the benefits for our mood are, of course, absolutely there. So if you haven't tried it, try it, see how you feel. All right, the seventh weight training benefit for women is confidence. Have you noticed that at all? I definitely have noticed that. Um, I haven't seen anybody who feels like, after they have done something really heavy, like squatted heavy or lifted a heavy, done a heavy deadlift, or like lifted a bunch of water bottles in the car, just like this one woman told me, and that makes you feel really confident. I remember years ago when I was still working at a gym, and I was teaching a powerlifting class maybe a couple of years ago, and I was teaching a powerlifting class, and one of these ladies she was a little bit she was definitely how would I say, she wasn't very excited about starting the gym, because she was on the larger side, and she had this idea that gym is not for people for me like me, and I'm too big and only fit people go there. But her girlfriend had gotten her into the gym, and so we started doing the powerlifting class together. And it didn't take very long until she started feeling like really confident in herself. And she lifted the weights, and she said, I went to work and told everybody that today I lifted like 145 pounds. And I never thought that I could do this. So I could do this. And there are so many other things that I can do as a result too. So the confidence is really amazing. And it doesn't matter what like shape or size your body is right now. You can still go to the gym and start practicing it. And even if you don't get anything out of it, like the first 2 weeks, you will notice your confidence, you will notice your mood go up. So this is such a big thing. And I think women really need more confidence. It's just how it is, because not everybody, but many of us don't feel that confident all the time, and are thinking that, I would just have to like think better, or I don't know what other tools there are to use. But have you tried lifting weights and seeing what that can do for your confidence? The next benefit is higher energy. And of course, I want to say here, it's all helpful when you're doing the right amount. So your energy will be high if you are recovering properly and if you're not pushing yourself so hard that you're always exhausted. Your energy will be great if you're doing just enough, but not too much. And I wanted to mention this because there are a lot of people out there who are overtraining, and I was overtraining too at one point. And this is not when you get great energy. When you are just pushing yourself too hard, you have wrong focus, you always try to do more, then it will burn you out and not give you the high energy. But if you have a goal of leaving the gym having higher energy than when you walked in, you're going to do it right. And you really feel that your energy is better. And in one of my newer workout programs, I actually added mini sessions between the actual workout days because they are really great for increasing your energy. And they're very, very light workouts or like mini circuits to do. And the goal is, yes, give your muscle a little bit of like a stimulus, but also give you a little bit of more energy. And the mini training sessions are literally like 5 to 10 minutes. That's all. But what that does is that when you like, let's say like get up and get off your table for a second and then do 5 minutes of 10 squats and then 10 push-ups, you're going to feel more energized. So that little bit even will give you higher energy. And I think you have experienced it as well if you have done some strength training and even just like regular movement. Just go outside, take a break from your day, and you notice that you come back with higher energy. All right, the 9th weight training benefit for women is better sleep. And this is important for so many reasons. First of all, of course, you're going to feel a lot better when you are well rested. And as a person who had a lot of insomnia in the past, I know how bad it can be to not sleep. Now, strength training absolutely can help you to sleep better when it's done, again, in moderation, when it's done just enough, but not too much, not so much that you are now burnt out, because we can easily go to the other extreme if we are this overachiever type. But if you do just enough, your sleep will be better. And what does that to there's a ripple effect, because also you have better fat loss. You probably make better food choices, because don't we all know that when we are sleep deprived, we just tend to eat more stuff and snack on more things and not really paying attention. So of course, better sleep is important for a lot of reasons, and strength training, when done in moderation, can help you do that. One thing, though, to keep in mind is that you have to be mindful of timing of your workout. So if you're somebody who feels really energized after you have done it, it's probably a good idea not to do it at the end of your day, because then you may have a hard time falling asleep. But if you start your day with a workout and then your energy is supposed to be higher, or right, because you're just starting your day, then this might be a lot better for you. So a lot of people don't see a big difference there. They're like, I don't mind working out at 6. I'm done by 7:30 or 7, and I can go to bed at 9. I'm totally fine. But a lot of people aren't like this. So you have to pay attention to your biofeedback and see if it keeps you awake, or are you able to go to sleep easier. I personally am definitely more morning workout person. Not first thing in the morning. I don't do like 6 a.m. Workouts, generally speaking. There might be very rare occasion when I do that. These days, it's more like mid-morning, and definitely want to make sure that I eat before that, which is also what I recommend if you want to put on muscle and get all the health benefits from strength training. Okay, and then we have gotten to the last point, which is better choices in general, and especially in the morning. So when you are committing to strength training and you're telling yourself, okay, I'm going to do 2-3 workouts a week, that's kind of structures your week. And also the days when doing the workout, you notice that your overall choices for the day are better. I hear it from a lot of people. When I start my day with a workout, I want to eat better. I want to also move throughout the day, not just sit down all day. I also want to make sure that I get enough water. It's kind of sets the tone for a day. That's why I think morning routine of some sort is really important, whether it starts with strength training or something else. But it's good to have structure like that. It's good to have a good start to your day. And if you can lift weights in the first half of the day, it definitely sets a really good positive tone for your day. So I hope you're doing this. All right. So this is it, 10 weight training benefits for women. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you have any thoughts, any topic suggestions, please let me know. I'm all ears. You can send me a message on Instagram. You can also comment on YouTube, or you can comment on my blog, whatever is most convenient to you. So thanks so much for being here today, and have a wonderful day.